And welcome everybody to another Thorogood webcast, the Sustainability Lakehouse. My name is Raghav Pandey, and I'm a business intelligence analytics consultant here at Thorogood, and I also head up our Singapore office. So if you have any questions to me, please use the chat panel and submit your questions to the host. You can also feel free to get in touch with me via my contact details on the screen if you'd like to discuss today's topic. Here's our agenda for the session. So I'll start with a brief introduction to Thorogood for those of you who are unfamiliar with us. We will then talk about sustainability, what it is, what it means for organizations, and why are organizations today actually embracing it. We will then look at how data and its effective usage is a key pillar in executing on your sustainability strategy. And we'll particularly look at the approach of a lakehouse, which we believe is an approach that works well for organizations trying to execute on their sustainability initiatives. We'll also show you a couple of examples where Thorogood has helped its customers adopt this approach. Finally, we'll look at a few next steps on how you can kickstart your sustainability journey and how Thorogood can help. Firstly, an introduction to Thorogood. So for those of you who don't know us, Thorogood is an independent global professional services firm specializing in data engineering, data science, and data visualization, strategy, solutions, and services. We focus on our customers and like to lock on to the business focus, understand what you're trying to derive from the applications you're building, what are sort of actions you're trying to enact on the basis of the applications you have as well, and then sort of merge that with our analytics and technology expertise to deliver on those applications. We are a global company with offices in Boston, Philadelphia, London, Bangalore, Singapore, and Sao Paulo as well. All our consultants are recruited and trained in the same way to develop a unique mix of skills, blending business understanding in the form of industry and functional experience with strong technical aptitude and a deep understanding of the analytical tools and techniques. We offer a full range of services across the spectrum in which we apply in, including strategy and roadmaps, requirements, design, implementation, as well as training and support. We are an independent organization in that we don't partner or work with a single technology, but instead work with technologies and tools that we believe are the most relevant in the space that we work in. This also allows us to give our customers a holistic perspective of what approach and tool would make most sense for their business needs. Now let's look at our topic for the day, starting off with how organizations are embracing sustainability and what are the various drivers for them to do so. Before we start off, actually, I would think it would be important to understand what sustainability actually is, as I'm sure we've heard this term in several different contexts. Sustainability at a basic level means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Hopefully this demystifies it, especially if there were any preconceptions that you might have had. And if I was to further build on this and present a definition which was pitched first to us by the United Nations, sustainability is a holistic approach that considers ecological, social, and economic dimensions, recognizing that all must be considered together to find lasting prosperity. This is actually my favorite way to think about it, and a great way to level set on the fact that it isn't just about our efforts in one particular area, but it is about our positive effect across ecology, society, and the economy, which brings about this appropriate change. The confluence of these bubbles and the interaction between them is an important concept to consider when thinking about sustainability. And in many ways, this is what the UN Sustainability Development Goals have allowed us to do. These 17 goals help in establishing how the different initiatives and processes around the world that are aligned with sustainability are coming together for the greater good. It also helps as a guide for organizations on how their several different efforts can be mapped to something which is understandable by all and can be appreciated in conjunction with the efforts governments, world bodies, and private organizations might be doing in this space. But as our topic of the day indicates, we would also like to think about what sustainability means in the context of organizations. And one of my favorite definitions in this context is that sustainability for organizations is a business approach to creating long-term value by taking into consideration how it operates in the ecological, social, and economic environment. While in many ways, the altruistic ideas of helping the ecology, society, and economy around us hold true for the initiatives organizations and companies take, in many ways, sustainability today is about creating that long-term value, which would also benefit the organization in the process. If you were to look at three key drivers on why sustainability is being embraced by organizations, those could possibly be as follows. The brand and company image is a key aspect. Consumers today are conscious of their own footprint and their impact on the ecology, and they expect the organizations and companies that they interact with to behave in the same way. The scrutiny of consumers and even the general populace over the sustainability of processes that an organization employs is only increasing, while the year-end reports to shareholders carry the initiatives and the targets a company has associated itself with, which has become a key aspect of ESG-based investing as well. Along with that is the competitive advantage that organizations can realize as part of embedding sustainability in their business strategies. In many ways, sustainability has allowed organizations to identify a better way of doing things, which not only helps the environment around them, but also helps to identify efficiencies in their standard processes. An example of this is supply chains, which in recent times has been revolutionized by the focus that sustainability has brought on them. Further, business processes, when entrenched with sustainability and when executed on cooperatively, help drive change. This sets new baseline expectations of how organizations should operate within an industry. And in many ways, these drivers and more is what is allowing enterprise market-leading organizations to execute on their sustainability objectives confidently. We see our customers as well defining their long-term goals and taking marked steps in achieving them. But what is most interesting in it, as well as encouraging, is how sustainability isn't really limited to organizations in just one functional area or vertical, but rather is something all organizations are embracing. And as mentioned earlier, clarity and communication of the initiatives that have been taken up and their impact against the targets has become equally important as well. But as organizations implement their sustainability strategies, it is important that they are aware of two gaps, which are often encountered, especially those in the nascent stage of their journey. Firstly, the compliance competitive advantage gap. Most companies today are seeing sustainability as an area of competitive advantage. However, all companies need to be compliant. The management and organization should consider addressing these topics independently, not necessarily mesh them together. Compliance in many ways is holistic and a must-do, whereas when looking at the competitive advantages that you can derive, a subset of those material issues really count. Secondly is the knowing-doing gap, which indicates that organizations today know about sustainability and identify the importance of it, but are unaware of how they can put tangible actions and resources behind it to realize it as well. This is actually something which we see across executive and organizations, where a large proportion of them find it important, but only a subset incorporate it within their strategy, and fewer incorporate it in their business model. This is a key gap to address, and we believe data here plays an important role. And that's what we will pick up in our next section here, where we talk about the role of data and the flexibility in its use in the context of sustainability. Now, when thinking about your organization's goals, the key aspects which allow you to implement initiatives that take you towards those goals could be thought of as follows. The transition of your organization's functions, which are often working in silos, to work more cooperatively is an important one for the purpose of sustainability. By nature, sustainability initiatives involve that cross-functional thinking and considerations, and actually require individuals who possess that cross-functional knowledge to theorize initiatives, and requires conscious bringing together of input and data from all of these functions to formulate that holistic view. Secondly, possessing end-to-end visibility on your business processes is key, as changes governed by sustainability, especially for large organizations, requires changes to the finer aspects of your processes, that which will only be identifiable by possessing that granular data. Invariably, when you extrapolate this detail orientation to your wider organization processes, this generates large quantities of data whose handling efficiently becomes important. Thirdly, no company's sustainability goals are actually formulated or enacted in isolation. External governing bodies, NGOs, certification authorities play an important role in the application of those initiatives. As a result, the importance of your company's internal data meshing seamlessly with your external data is very important in realizing the advantages of sustainability. And really, if we were to distill this into some key technical aspects, one would say that your tools and data structures need to allow you to be responsive and support your organization's goals and help theorize opportunities. Secondly, data pertaining to sustainability can arrive in several different forms, which traditional rigid data structures might not play best with. The flexibility thus of being able to work with different formats of data sets seamlessly is an important pillar in designing a data platform for your initiatives. And as mentioned, for organizations looking to drive ahead on that competitive advantage, granular detailed data and its efficient handling is key, while bringing it all together enables quick identification of value. And finally, to make the claims of having implemented on your initiatives and progressed against your goals publicly, a certain assurance on the dependability and consistency of the processes which formulate the data to support your initiatives is crucial as well. And this is a good segue to talk about what Lakehouses have to offer and how they can support sustainability programs. Lakehouses architecturally at a basic level look to combine the best features of both data lakes and data warehouses. These are two repositories which are widely used today by all companies. And as a concept, Lakehouses are platform agnostic, although they are intrinsically a concept born out in the cloud, leveraging modern tools for interacting with data. Our talking of it here is from the perspective of what Databricks offers in this space, which serves as a good basis of understanding the concept itself. Indicating some data lake and data warehouse specific features, an ideal platform should be able to store data in any format, provide you a certain assurance of your data transactions, give you flexibility of using a variety of different tools in your analysis and machine learnings and in your analysis and machine learning needs over your data, allow you to implement the level of security and governance that the sensitivity of your data set you're handling desires, give you the ability of storing the data in the way you want it and in quantities that doesn't inhibit your analysis, ensure structures which are crucial to your analysis are retained, even with new data sets coming in. And finally, something which is flexible enough to allow different teams to operate on top of it and realize its values. As you would see by the icons accompanying these points, these features have intrinsically been associated to one or the other, that is data lakes or data warehouses. However, with tools like Databricks giving you the flexibility of accessing whatever kind of data in the way you want it, while accommodating for all of the points above, Lakehouses become that option which give you the best of both worlds, eliminating the needs of choosing between data warehouses and data lakes, or complicate your architecture with several other tools or methods that you would require for storing data. Lakehouses cut through that. And at its basic level, Lakehouses are really just built over data lakes with tools that then provide you the functionality that we've pointed out, while taking advantage of the inherent flexibility that data lakes have always provided. And to relate this back to sustainability, the benefits of using Lakehouses for accelerating your sustainability initiatives make good sense. Looking at the points we raised as some of the technical needs that a data platform supporting sustainability initiatives would need, and relating it to the points we just noted as the key pillars of a lakehouse, you can see that there's a strong overlap which exists. This is a relationship we have taken advantage of in our engagements with customers, where the flexibility of Lakehouses has allowed us to establish a basis over which experiments and solutions can be built rapidly. This is one such example where we developed a sustainability data platform for one of our customers to look at driving experiments, proof of concepts, and subsequently scale up solutions as quickly and as rapidly as we can. The key pillars of this data platform were to allow us to integrate those global data sets coming from different functions and departments such as finance, supply chain, marketing, and combine them into a model which would then give you the insights that you wish for. The unification and the harmonization of these data sets was key, as they exist in very many different forms. Each of these disparate data sets were to be brought into a single data layer and then act as a source for all of our initiatives. And there we used tools which were Azure-based. The combination of something like Databricks and Data Factory helped in orchestrating the data transformation and in maintaining the different layers of data with different qualities as well. Thereafter, the usage of something like Delta Lake also helped for consistency in transactions and the data formats that we utilized. And the business benefits this brought about was a quick identification of value on the experiments that we ran, an understanding of the metrics that we were theorizing, as well as adjusting them through the process, and establishing a clear path to scale up of how you take a solution for one market on a subset of data to all markets and give them the value that the solution derives. And some of the experiments that we did or are in progress using this data platform have been around sustainable sourcing, looking at plastic and paper packaging and seeing how there can be the reduction of certain harmful types of plastic in the packaging of the products this company sells, as well as looking at tracking the palm oil usage as to where and all the palm oil is sourced from, how it's utilized, how much of it is sustainable, how much of it is not, and then also seeing which products are actually using the palm oil eventually as well. Another such example is where we are looking at building a sustainability data layer over an already existing data layer containing data from several different functions of that organization. Here, the idea is to deliver something comprehensive and coherent, which acts as a source for all sustainability initiatives, some of which would be to drive brand goals, for making claims of how sustainable the brands are in terms of the products that they're producing, interact with consumers as well, giving them full details on what, say, the carbon footprint of a particular product is, and give them that information as and when they're purchasing those products as well, and also support the organization's targets, which act as an overarching umbrella over which these initiatives are driven. Here, one of the particular challenges is to define a master data lake that actually supports 40+ initiatives and allows for relationship to actually exist between the data sets coming from these different functions and eventually as those initiatives are delivered as well. As you can imagine, for a global organization, looking at the details of the data set is huge and is available at a very granular level. And it becomes important to handle this effectively, which the Lakehouse approach allows us to do. And bring all of this together into a holistic model and give an overview of the end-to-end view of the life cycle of products or some of the other processes which exist. And this in turn is helping us formulate a universal version of truth, something which all departments, all initiatives agree to and can depend on as well. Alongside that, you have a detailed information model, which becomes available to users to slice and dice in the manner that they would wish. Plus, the advantage of having something flexible allows us to compress large quantities of data into specific actionable insights, which then feature in the tracking of this organization against the sustainability goals. So hopefully those are a couple of examples which give you an idea of how Lakehouses can actually be employed to further your sustainability journeys. Next, I thought what would be interesting is to detail a few next steps and wrap the session up as well. So if you're looking to just kickstart your sustainability journey, if you have certain ideas about what sustainability could mean for your organization, but really are trying to bridge the knowing-doing gap, which I talked about earlier, Thorogood can definitely help. So whether it be identifying some example sustainability initiatives, which would make sense for your organizations, to then actually thinking about it in more detail over a one-day workshop where high-level aims can be discussed, certain use cases can be prioritized as well, and proof of values can be theorized as well with whatever target outcomes you might desire. Thereafter, like we have done for some of our customer organizations, we can run proof of values over 4 to 6 weeks, depending upon what the outcomes are and whatever data that we have at hand at that point of time. Further on, we can then scale those solutions up, operationalize them, and deliver them in a phased fashion, again, depending upon the complexities that you would want to build into the solution and what it's trying to achieve as well. So do get in touch if this is something of interest. I will obviously flash my contact credentials at the end of the session as well for you to get in touch with me. And just to detail that workshop a little bit further, it could look like this, where you could have a morning kickoff session where we could be understanding the business drivers, discuss some of the possible sustainability use cases, shortlist a few of them, and actually go into the afternoon implementing on some of it and seeing what are the people, processes, and data that we would require to actually make this proof of value a success. Thereafter, maybe you can create some initial mock-ups, think about how it can look like for the users eventually, And then further on, look at how we can scope that proof of value and start off in a quick and easy fashion thereafter. And if the topic of sustainability is of interest to you, feel free to go to our website where we have a few interesting case studies and a few events lined up on the topic. We will also be adding a few more events on the topic of sustainability, so do keep an eye out for them in the near future. Further, if there are events and content outside of sustainability that you would be interested in, our website has a lot on the topic as well. Anything end-to-end business intelligence analytics is something that we cover and something which you'll find useful material on our website as well. So whether it be on-demand content or you registering for an event in the future, which I'm sure would be something which would cater to your needs as well. And that's all I had wanted to cover today. Thank you for joining in. Feel free to get in touch with me on any of the contact credentials that I have provided here. And hope to see you all in a future webcast or hear from you as well. Thank you all for joining, and bye-bye.